What's up, YouTube?
Hello there.
Your brutally honest critic here. I just watched Aquaman the Lost Kingdom, the sequel to the 2018 Aquaman. Brace yourselves for a deep-sea expedition into this blockbuster's depths, or shall I say, shallows. First off, Aquaman's opening monologue.
Nothing.
Is this a superhero movie or a recap podcast? This whole "let me catch you up" spiel feels like a worn-out VHS tape Hollywood's been regurgitating for the last half-decade. I get it. Not everyone's a comic geek or the avid moviegoer, but there are better ways to tell a story than to speedrun narrating a Wikipedia page. 5 years on, and this trope is as or more overused than the superhero landing. All right, let's give credit where it's due. The special effects were all right, but not something very memorable. Giant bugs, giant rats, zombies. Honestly, nothing new. There was this desert creature when Aquaman and Orm were running in this desert prison that looks like what a 5-year-old would conjure up. It's like, when I see that thing, it reminded me of my old worn-out toothbrush with bristles jutting right and left, except the whole toothbrush has bristles, and give it insect legs, and that's basically what it is. The only memorable scene is the final fight between Manta and Aquaman. When that scene started, I was like, oh, okay, now I see where they put all the CGI budget into. But let's be real here. Shiny graphics don't make a movie great on their own. Moving on to the story. It's as if they threw darts at a board of superhero movie plots and went with what stuck. Brotherhood, family drama, seen it all before. The dynamics is sort of like, what's that movie? Oh yeah, it's sort of like Hobbs and Shaw, where Arthur is the more fun guy like Hobbs, and Orm is the more serious guy like Shaw. Character growth, more like character stagnation, for everyone. Aside from Orm showing some new colors, everyone else seems to be stuck in their own little Groundhog Day. We need more than just new suits and bigger tridents to see real growth. The two characters with the most character development were Orm and this Asian scientist who went from working with Manta and then later on realizing the consequences of his actions, and in the end, risking himself to save Arthur's kid. I can say that the scientist was the backbone of the humor in this movie. I am glad that they added him. Now, Amber Heard's role. Her reduced screen time, for reasons well known, and the awkward family dynamic with Aquaman's dad instead of her character, Mera, felt like a knee-jerk reaction to the off-screen drama. It's like trying to hide an elephant in a room with a napkin. The main villain was the king of the lost kingdom of Necrus. He didn't look all that great or creative, honestly speaking. He looks like one of those CGI Undead Legion characters from Warcraft. The zombies from Pirates of the Caribbean looked much better than this dude. But the whole movie was clearly leading up to the final fight between Arthur and this zombie king. But his downfall was as disappointing as getting socks for Christmas. No offense to anyone getting socks for Christmas. LOL. One moment we're expecting a big final CGI fight between Arthur and the zombie king, and the next he's out like a light when Arthur threw his trident at the zombie's trident, breaking both it and him in the process.
What the fuck?
It's one of the most, if not
My
the most
disappointment
anticlimactic
is
ending
immeasurable.
that I've seen in a movie for the whole of
And my day is
2023. And then the music that plays right after, combined with that scene. It's terrible. It's loud, it's dramatic, and it's screaming for attention. Subtlety, anyone?
I couldn't think of a more horrible job if I wanted to.
It's like you're in a 3 Michelin restaurant. The chef is going to personally deliver the food to you. When he walks out the kitchen, there's this team of musicians playing a crescendo of epic proportions. It gets louder and more conspicuous the closer he walks to your table. The chef places the plate in front of you and opens the lid, and it's a whole pile of dog shit. And then you look at him, whilst the musicians is playing the peak of the crescendo. And then you look at the chef and the musicians, your eyes screaming, "Are you serious, dude?"
You serious?
At least that's how I felt. Now, let's talk about talk no jutsu. This isn't an anime, folks. When villains start monologuing, it's like they're handing over the "I'm about to lose" script. Two instances where Manta could have achieved his objectives. He was a second too late in killing Arthur's kid, and then Arthur because he had to open his goddamn mouth. The funny thing is, talk no jutsu works differently for the good guys. Orm was about to run through Arthur with the black trident, and then Arthur used talk no jutsu, and it magically solved everything. But I do see how the movie tried to portray that dialogue as the climax of Arthur's and Orm's brotherly bond. I got to give props to the actor playing Orm because he really portrayed resisting the zombie king possession quite well. Like you could really see his internal struggle from his expression. Kudos to him. Then there's the whole orichalcum debacle.
Huh? What?
It felt like an excuse to name drop climate change for brownie points. So Manta was breaking into Atlantis' orichalcum vaults to burn it to accelerate. Didn't mishear that. That's how dumb the plot is. And I see a lot of holes in this.
Girl, that's a booty hole.
The logic was flimsier than a cardboard shield. So, in the first scene of the movie, the Asian scientist was able to stumble into the Lost Kingdom. If Manta wanted to get there, he simply had to use his sonic cannon or some ice drill equipment which he already has, accelerating global warming to melt the ice. Can you smell that smelly smell? That bullshit plot smell? I can.
Roll. Climate change.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
The real reason why they put this bullshit global warming plot device is to boost the movie's ESG scores that Disney is pushing in all their movies these days. If it's not woke messaging, then it's global warming. One missed opportunity they didn't capitalize on was how Arthur handled kingdom politics. It would have been interesting to see how he negotiates with the other kingdoms to get Orm out, rather than this generic prison break scene. I know some people would prefer some brain-dead action scenes, but personally, I would have appreciated some intellectual dialogues from Arthur as King of Atlantis, because in that way, we can get a different perspective of his character. Family dynamics in superhero movies. Is it just me? Or does it feel like a narrative dead end? Once our hero settles down, it's like their character development hits a brick wall. All we get are higher stakes and more explosions, but no real growth. What do you guys think? Wrapping this up with the score sheet. Action, 7. Humor, 5.5. Story, 5.5. Acting, 7. Ending, climax, 4. Overall, this movie gets a 6 out of 10 from me. It's decent visually, but narratively shallow. I can see there were no risks taken in this movie. They obviously went with the safe route for the general audience. So there you have it, my brutally honest take on Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more no-holds-barred reviews. Until next time, stay critical.